Hey guys, Engineer Wannabe here with my good friend Bobby from the Watch Medicine Instagram account. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are really doing well today and having a good end of weekend end. And yeah, it's good to see you, Bobby. How are you?
Doing
What are you
well.
wearing today?
I am not wearing your
Protect.
least favorite watch. Uh, I am actually wearing one. I think you like this one.
Yeah.
But of course, this is one that's definitely a keeper for me.
Oh yes.
Um,
Just gotta see the case back and
yeah,
you
there's
know
no.
it.
There it
There he
comes,
is.
Snoopy. Yeah, there he goes. Uh,
That's
yeah,
such a cool. I
yeah.
mean,
It just doesn't get old.
yeah,
Um, and when you're bored, just to put on the case back. I know there's a lot of good movements out there and everything, but just seeing Snoopy go around the moon is something. And of course, the dial is not bad at well
oh yeah,
either.
it's
Blue
very nice.
panda. Yep, and it's on your old Speedmaster bracelet.
Yeah, yeah, it looks good. Looks
Yep.
good. Have you ever worked towards breaking in the other strap, like the really stiff?
It's just it was so unpleasant to like it would take weeks to to
Yeah,
break that in.
yeah,
I should, but maybe maybe a couple later on this year, maybe I should do that.
yeah. You should try that hot water method. Hot
Yeah,
water in a tin. I hear good things about that.
I should try that.
um, yeah, yeah. I got Dan in the chat. Good to see you, Dan. And we have Peter, who's second. Wolfgang is third. There you go. Um, Chaz says bunch of overachievers. Good to see you, Chad. Bill K, how's it going? Bruno, good to see you. Who bought a watch in 2022? The stores were open today.
Oh, okay.
Um, I did not,
Me
but
either.
yeah,
We have been successful so far.
yeah, yep. One whole day made it. Wolfgang apparently wanted to, but can't. He underachieving watch collector. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Easy Clayton's here. He's made it 2 days into 2022. Kevin, how are you? Let's see. Caliber YKG is here as well. We've got Steve from Time Hill. Good to see you, sir. And Danny Castine. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Um, hey, Joey's here too. Good to see you, Joey. And we got Brownie. We've got Clayton from the Watchdog Podcast. Good to see you, sir. Um, who else? We got Jared. How's it going, Mr. Seattle Sounders? Hope you're doing well. Um, okay. Oh, and James is here as well. Ken Spear is here. We've got Pale Horse. Joey actually bought a cheap Seiko today. Look at that. Wow. Commemorating 2022. Start off with a bang.
Congratulations, eh?
Yeah. Hey, James Moore, good to see you as well. Um, Bobby says, or Wolfgang says, we need to explain how to Bobby how to define success in this hobby. Oh man. Let's see. Kevin says, I'm so proud of all of you who have shown restraint so far in 2022. Stay strong, fellas. Good to see you, Kevin. Hope you're doing well. On my wrist, I have my old faithful, the SBGY 003 on this teal mossy green strap. Really love this watch, as you guys all know. Yeah, used it to shovel
Nice
snow.
watch. That's your keeper.
Yes, yep. I just said I used it to shovel snow. I didn't actually use the watch to shovel snow, but I wore it while shoveling snow.
Is there a lot of snow?
Not a lot, no.
Okay.
Just a late dusting over here in the Toronto area, so not too bad. But I've heard there was more snow out west. Maybe I'm not sure. Um, yeah. So let's get right into it. I'm a little low energy, so I apologize in advance. Um, but let's. Which one do you want to tackle first, Bobby? Do you want to do the?
Let's talk about Nomos.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't think you'd go with that one. I was thinking,
It's something that we rarely talk about.
yeah,
Uh, it's not a topic, and I actually never saw this channel before.
yeah,
It was nice that you brought that channel that thing up because it was pretty straightforward. From a collector who has one and wondering what the reasons are for Nomas not to be as popular. I think the first question he asks in the video is, do you have a Nomos or do you know anybody who has a Nomos? And the
yeah,
most likely answer is no
yeah. That
for
was
both those
funny.
questions. But I
Yeah,
think even it seems like it should be a brand that's more um, should be more well recognized amongst enthusiasts. I feel like, but it's not. I don't know why the
yeah,
reason is. But I'll let you go first. So what you think about the video and
yeah. So
Anomos in general?
This was a video from Oleg from 24 Hours at a Time. He's a fellow Canadian, but further out west, I believe. Really, really nice, nice guy. So I enjoy watching his videos. Um, this video, he was talking about five, as the title says, five problems with Nomos. So his understanding of the situation as to why Nomos is not really popular with the enthusiast community. Um, some might argue that they are, but overall in general, I think they're um, kind of not so popular, at least in our circles.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm just gonna run through his reasons real quick. He said Nomos watches all look the same. No no watch no watches in their collection that really looks like a sports watch.
Hmm.
The third one was value retention is really poor. They have no brand ambassadors that we know of, and it has no it factor. I'm not really sure what he means by by that one there, um, but I mean it was an interesting video. I didn't quite agree with all his points.
I agree.
Uh,
I,
yeah,
I agree. Like that aspect. I think so. The question would be how many points do you agree with out of the five that he
yeah,
brought up?
okay. Um,
So we could go by one if you want to. Like the first one
yeah,
was they all look alike,
right. Yeah,
um, and that I agree with.
yeah,
I think, but then again, I mean, the counter argument would be all Rolexes look alike too, all
yep,
Panerais look alike too, all
yeah,
Tudors kind of look alike. So it's not something that is only to Nomos. I think the problem with Nomos is their design is not sports watchy like, and that goes to point number two. But
yeah,
I think that's where I feel like it's more a bespoke type of design, which is not for everybody. That's why I think that's point number one. I agree with that completely.
yeah. I agree as well. I feel like when it comes to other brands, they always have something else, and I'm sure maybe Nomos does have something else. Um, I guess like if you think of the Autobahn, it's just really funky
Hmm.
colors. It looks like a speedometer, and you know, in not in a good way. Like it's funky and it's to me it's not cool. It's just strange. um, but someone might really like it. Like Tim Mosso really likes the Autobahn. So you could make the argument that there are some different ones. There's a Lambda that looks like an alien head on a dial, really strange looking thing. So if you're not really going with the Bauhaus Nomos, you're kind of going to the really weird category of watch. It almost thinks,
I,
almost
I
feels like.
I
So
think the Nomos Tetra as well, but it's just the
yeah,
shape that changes. It's
yeah,
still the same dial
yeah. That
layout.
is the same. Very, very Bauhaus, very minimalistic. Um, but yeah, I do agree with the first one. They all kind of look the same. But if you look at say Rolex, you kind of have something different, like in the Sky Dweller, right?
Mhm.
Or Daytona, they have a chronograph. I'm not quite sure if Nomos has some kind of chronograph that would kind of change the look a little bit. But yeah, yeah, I mean, every brand you can find something different. Like Grand Seiko was known for their dressy watches, but then they have like crazy, super large divers. You know, they're not a lot of them, but they're these weird, off the beaten path kind of stuff. Nomos, yeah, not so much. There's only the Autobahn that I can think of at least.
And we're going to talk about Panerai a little later on, but Panerai only has like two models, right? The Luminor and the
Right.
Radiomer, but they're
Yeah.
very successful
Yeah.
in diving that. And I think, and I'm going to jump to point number two, and that's what he brought up. I agree with point number two, which is they don't have a well recognized sports watch, or whatever their sports line is. It's not well recognized amongst the general population. Also, they don't. I think he stressed on not a well known diver,
Yeah.
which I don't necessarily have to agree with, because I think a lot of brands don't have divers and they're really well recognized, like JLC. I mean, you do have the Polaris and everything, but it's not their main house. The Reverso, the Master Collection, all those are very well, you know, well received by enthusiasts. And same thing with IWC, right?
Yeah.
The Pilot Collection. I think so. I would push back on like just diver, but I would think the sports watch. I think you need to have a little bit of a sports watch if you're, because I don't think Nomus is not a where people jump to for dress watches either. But
Yeah.
so that's where the problem is. I don't know what they're known for.
Yeah. I guess they're not really known, just period, right? That that's the problem. I feel like they should be known for pushing that in-house manufactured movement
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. But they really aren't known. They're almost known as a fashion brand, right? It feels like, you'd see the I can't quite remember who. I think John P was mentioning that in his area he'd see like the baristas with Nomos or something like that, and they wouldn't be watch guys. They wouldn't want to talk about the watch or anything, but they'd just be like, okay,
Sure.
don't talk to me, kind of thing. I think I've heard John P say that. I can't quite remember who exactly said that, but yeah, it's
And their
odd.
lugs are a little long, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
other thing that kind of
But at the same time, they've got smaller diameter watches, which can
true.
kind of counter. Like with
True.
Longines, you got long lugs, but you don't have smaller diameters, so just you got to write off that brand for the most part.
Sure.
Sorry, Wolfie. um, but yeah, I mean, the third point he was talking about value retention. I think, I mean, I don't think that really matters. In the grand
Especially
scheme of
if you
things.
have the first two, then the third one will correct itself.
Yeah,
Um, I think, especially, and value retention doesn't necessarily mean that much, because there's a lot of brands out there. I mean, there's only a few brands that retain value that well. Um, I'm okay with him saying that point, because a lot of people want to buy, when they're buying a watch, they want to buy a watch. Probably Nomos is probably entry level. Like, when they're buying their first watch, they're like, oh, am I going to lose money, or should I go for an Omega, or
right.
something else like that's, or Grand Seiko now, that
Yeah,
has probably better value retention. So I agree with that aspect of it, but I really don't think that's a big problem with
yeah,
just Nomos.
yeah,
The last two, I don't agree with.
yeah,
Brand ambassador, I don't care. Brand
yeah.
ambassador, yes. I don't think people are buying Tudors because of Lady Gaga or David Beckham,
Right.
or people are buying Rolexes just because of Federer, or I
Yeah.
think they're buying it because of the watch quality and the watch brand. And again, the first top of three reasons we usually talked about, right? They have sports watches that retain value really well,
Yeah.
and there's different varieties to choose from. I think that's more important than brand ambassador. I think that's just. I think that was. I think this topic should have been four big problems with Nomos, not five. Brand ambassador should have been. And the fifth one, and I'll just say the two together. It factor. I really don't think that speaks to the collector. I
Yeah.
don't think it factor is necessary. These are inanimate objects. I mean, one object might like, you might like a Grand Seiko, which might not, appeal to me. You do not like the Nautilus, but a
Yeah.
lot of people like it has some questionable it factor. So that's not. So I think points 4 and 5, I completely disagree with.
Yeah. Yeah. The it factor is kind of really subjective. And you're right. I completely agree with you that those 2 points were definitely a bit questionable. Brand ambassador, in a sense, I think, yeah, I don't see how that works. I mean, I barely knew that Djokovic was Seiko's brand ambassador. When he
I
mentioned
think
it,
he switched to Hublot, right? If,
I'm not sure.
correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
stream. He switched to something else.
Okay. Okay.
But he was Seiko, yes.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
and he only had
unless
like
it's a
half.
personal hero, right? Like if you really like Djokovic, you're a super fan of Djokovic, then I agree. Go ahead
Yeah.
and buy Seikos because he's your personal hero. But
Yeah.
a lot of these brand ambassadors are not, like, to me at least, I don't have a big affinity to anybody, and my purchase of a watch is independent of you know who's representing the brand.
Yeah. And with Omega, you're thinking about
George Clooney,
Bond or uh,
George Clooney.
George Clooney. Yes. Yeah. Um, James Bond being like a fictitious brand ambassador, which is
Mhm.
interesting as well. I'm not sure if Daniel Craig is Omega ambassador, but um, I've never really understood that. But I do get how Bond is this really cool figure, even though it's a fictitious figure. It'd be like kids going crazy over Spider-Man.
But
Uh,
that's a smart ambassador, though, right?
yes,
James Bond is an ageless, right?
yeah,
Like he'll live on. Daniel Craig will get old. Pierce
yeah,
Brosnan will get old,
yeah,
but James Bond will still. Spider Man, I guess, another thing. Those are things that are probably smarter than. And again, Rolex has a really good, ambassadors. I personally, I don't own a Rolex right now, but Roger Federer, James Cameron, like these guys are, I do respect them a lot. But
yeah,
again, not for me to purchase a watch
yeah.
based on, uh,
Yeah, based on who they are.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, and you even think that some brand ambassadors would turn people off of the brand. So, like, I know a lot of people were up at arms with Lady Gaga was the brand ambassador for Tudor. So it became a bit of a hey, I don't want her to represent us kind of thing. That the community was saying. I don't know if you heard any of that, but
No, I think Lady Gaga is pretty high up on the, like, if you're talking about musicians,
yeah,
vocal artists. I think she's probably top 5 in the last 20 years.
yeah,
Uh, so I think she's probably a good ambassador,
yeah.
um, for a brand. I don't think she.
I, it probably makes sense for like in a business sense, but
Yeah,
I think the enthusiasts were a little put off by that
and,
investment, but
and
not.
again, that's a thing. Is like I that's why brand ambassadors should be not a thing
Yeah,
for enthusiasts. Like, um,
yeah, yeah. It's an odd thing, but
I agree
yeah,
with 3 of his 5. So it's majority. I agree with the first 3 dead
yeah,
on. I think it started getting lower each the further you went into the titles. But I
yeah.
do agree. I think Nomos should be a little more well represented. I think another brand that's similar to Nomos is Oris,
Okay,
and
yeah,
I think Oris has done a better PR. And I mean they're in what do you call wind up. I see. I don't know if anybody's been to wind up recently, but I've never heard about Nomos being there
oh, okay,
recently. But I know that Oris is always there. They, the bear, like they have good dive watches, so, and they're like different types of models, right? The big
yeah,
pointer Tate, like I know the Oris Aquis,
yep,
6, so those things, like at least I think Oris and Nomos probably competing in the same market, and I think Oris is doing a better job,
yeah,
even though maybe their quality might be inferior to Nomos. I think Nomos's in-house movements are better, but
yeah.
their
The
design is probably.
the interesting thing is that Oris has like over 100 years of, I think it's over 100 years of heritage that they can kind of lean on. Well, Nomos is a very young brand, and I think that kind of works against them as well because they're considered like this '90s brand. Some people almost consider them to be less than like a micro brand of sorts, not a micro brand, but not even an independent. So they're in like this weird gray area that I've heard some people talk about. So that's I think one of the reasons, one of the things working against them, maybe. Uh,
And another thing is, I think German brands, watch brands, don't do a good job of representing or marketing their brands. It's
right.
not only like Nomos, what was Langa in the
Yeah.
higher end sector. They're not. They don't do like. everybody knows AP and the bigger Hydra, but longest movement finishing is definitely
Yeah,
on par, even better than Vacherons of the world.
yeah.
There's a couple. Zin, another one. They don't
See,
do any.
one of the things that he compared Nomos to was Zin, and um, there was a couple of other brands there. I thought I was kind of scratching my head, like they kind of they're not kind of beloved either. Like Zin kind of is, but they don't sell a whole lot. Nomos sells. I think I read around 20,000 watches a year. I'm not quite sure where Zin stands. And so it's hard to compare those two things. And I think he mentioned that the it factor for Zin was the tegimented steel,
Yeah,
and I'm not quite sure if that stands either. It's not. I
I
mean,
think they
it's a,
have better sports watches though. Zin, right?
yes, yeah,
So I think that's another. At least those top three choices. You should have one of those three
yeah,
in the bag, I guess,
yeah.
to be successful.
It would be really cool to see Nomos come out with like a proper, like a traditional kind of dive watch.
Yep.
I couldn't even fathom it. Like if they were trying to uh, meld in this Bauhausy look into a dive watch. I can't
The
even.
bezel and everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
I can't even comprehend how that would happen. But it would be. I'm sure it would be really cool if they
Yeah.
did manage to pull something off. So maybe it'll happen in the future, and maybe it'll be super desirable. But yeah, right
But
now
have you, like Sanjay, ever felt like you wanted to get a Nomos?
I've had Nomos.
Okay, you've had it.
The
Okay, so you're
only Nomos I've had would be the Tetra.
okay.
So I had the Tetra for about 3 or so months. Um, I loved it. The only issue I had with it was the crown was off centered to the case, so
Mhm.
it was airing on the side of down, and the crown was really sharp, and it always left like this really bad abrasion on my wrist. So I don't know. I mean, I was like, oh, if you guys, the case was super thin. I was thinking, just make 1 millimeter thicker. That was the one time I wanted the case to be 1 mil thicker, so that I could really enjoy the watch. But yeah, that's the other thing. Nomos makes such great cases, though. Oh man, they're really thin, and that's the other thing I was thinking about when it came to what he mentioned about brand ambassadors. If they were to hire brand ambassadors, they wouldn't be this great value brand anymore, because they'd be spending all sorts of money on all these other things trying to get their name out, and you wouldn't be getting like this really cool Nomos Tetra for like, I don't know, $1,500.
Mhm.
That's 7 or 8 mil thick. It's incredible. Like it's a great value for the money. Really beautifully decorated, or above average, quite well decorated manual wound movement. Um, you really can't do much better for the price if you're looking for that kind of watch. But yeah, once you start spending money on brand ambassadors and all these other things, prices are going to go up pretty steeply. So
I think I've only wanted the club campus. I
okay,
really so, but somehow I bought a 90s Seamaster, I believe.
yeah.
So I mean, there's
So
options out there, but the campus is very colorful, and I like that.
that's the California dialed one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's really nice. And their straps are incredible. Like the shell cordovan straps
Mhm.
are really nice. I can attest to that. Okay, so let's jump in the chat before we move on to the next video. We got Corey. Thank you so much for a super chat. It's very, very kind of you, sir. You really don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. He says every other YouTube channel featured on Watch Soup is just the opening act for the headliner. You're terrific. Absolutely. Chaz is talking about how I'm crushing Wolfie's heart. First Longines, now Nomos. Hey, it wasn't me. It was Oleg. Kevin says, I don't regret my Nomos, but I don't think I'll get another one. Okay.
Yeah, that's
What Nomos do you have, Kevin? Be good to know. Um, Chaz says, I like that new big blue model, but lots of tough competition at that price. I realized there was a blue model. Cool. Hey, Floyd Morrison, good to see you. The Zurich Weltzeit World Timer is the only interesting Nomos. Everything else is
That's
bland and boring.
that's a good watch.
It is. Navy Blue Monster loves his Nomos Club. Wolfgang says they need a seminar on Nomos. um, the Nomos Metro Gang Reserve is my first mid-level watch. Cool. I'm not familiar with that one. That that almost sounds bad. Like Gang Reserve. The first thing I thought was gangrene. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, green on your wrist.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Neff says it looks great. The clasp is too shiny, but I think they're really going in a good direction. I hope they downsize it for my sake. Cool. Let's see.
That's another thing. They have everything is like so many different sizes, right?
Yeah,
It's like same model, like in 5, 10 sizes.
yeah. It's good in theory. It's got to be
Yeah.
a logistical nightmare.
Yes, exactly.
uh, Peter says, I forgot you own Nomos Wolfgang. Apologize. Dream Juggler, hey, good to see you. Most Nomos look like Daniel Wellingtons. Well, on the contrary, most Daniel Wellingtons look like Nomos. uh, just,
Yeah,
just think
let's yeah.
give
That's
credit
kind
where
of a low
credit's due.
blow to Nomos right there.
Yeah, yeah, it's sad. It's what's happened with those Bauhausy minimalistic designs. It's kind of does overall cheapen the brand, I think, and it's not their fault. Baristas with Nomos. I bet that's an expensive cup of Joe. I bet it is. Kevin says John P looks like he could be a barista hipster himself. Oh, that's good. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll down, guys. I'm sorry if I missed any comments. Daniel Craig is a brand ambassador of Omega. That's good to know. Very cool. All right. Bruno says ambassadors don't mean much to us enthusiasts, but they do influence the general watch buying public.
True.
Yeah.
That is probably right. I'm talking about the watch enthusiasts should not be bothered, but I guess general public, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And that was one thing that didn't bother me. Like when that whole uproar with Lady Gaga, not that there was a huge uproar, but people were kind of not impressed. I was
I
just
mean, it could always gone worse, right? Justin Bieber or something like that.
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
there's always, somebody worse.
yeah. I mean, not every person is going to appeal to another person, so there's always going to be,
Yeah, yeah,
detractors.
especially
So
musicians.
yeah, it's just best to put the blinders on and enjoy the watch, which
Yep.
is uh, kind of something I was thinking about today when I was thinking about. Just a bit of an aside. Random Rob put up the um, Seiko Sla-055. So the watch I just got, he put out a video this morning, and I was kind of going through the comments, and it just triggered some thoughts, and I was thinking, if we just think about the watch and see if it's worth the money or not, that would really help us, because everyone is saying, it's just a Seiko. It doesn't even have a grand in front of it, and they're charging $4,600. But I'm thinking, come on, just look at the watch. Just come on, take a look at that watch. It's incredible. Just forget the name for a second there, but I totally understand. Like with other things, I think the same way. But yeah,
It's like having all these watch enthusiasts like blindfold, like in those cooking shows, they can taste it and say what the ingredient is.
yeah,
Feel the watch, you don't know what the watch is.
yeah.
Feel the bracelet, have a look at
The
the movement.
what were those guys? Crown and Caliber. Crown and
Yeah.
Caliber. You did that actually
Yeah.
with their host some time back. It was an interesting one because
I haven't seen that guy since then. Like it's been some time since I've seen that.
I haven't seen him since the Hodinky takeover. I don't know if something that had something to do with it, but
Well, yeah, that's
um,
probably not a
yeah,
bad. Probably should
he,
check that out.
he was a really enjoyable fellow to
Yeah, yeah,
listen
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that stood out in my mind was he was holding the Omega No Time to Die with the titanium mesh bracelet, and he was thinking it was like a needle. He thought it was a fabric strap.
That was that
And
smooth.
yeah, it was that smooth. So that was really cool because you get an impression that you don't get when you're going by touch, and
Yeah.
you hear someone describe it by touch. It's a really new thing to think about. So I really enjoyed that little bit that they did. Um, Karan was saying he was very involved with Orbis. Not sure what Orbis is.
Maybe Oris.
Oris? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Tom Brady is IWC, I'm guessing, right?
IWC.
Yeah.
I believe when he won the Super Bowl, and the chat can correct me, he got
Yeah.
super drunk, and then he threw the Super Bowl trophy. It was in Tampa Bay, so he was throwing the Super Bowl trophy over the water. It was caught by somebody,
Oh,
but he was wearing an IWC watch,
yeah.
so that's good publicity. But
Yeah. That's bad press.
yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Uh, Chad saying what? James Bond is fictitious. Next thing you're gonna tell me Santa's not real. Yeah, about that. Um, James Duffy says Nomos is not for everybody, but I can see that about every brand.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's the it's good value for money, like you said, Sanjay. It's a good brand. I'm
Yeah.
not going to knock it off. It's just if anybody's wearing it, it's a great brand to enter the hobby, or even just keep as a keeper watch.
Yeah.
For collectors who have more than one watch, I believe Nomas is a good brand.
Yeah. Andrew Chewing Watch Collector saying TGB is a great ambassador for Squale. I think they probably made a lot of money because of TGB. NS Something is here. Hey, NS Something. It's really great to have you. An honor to have you in the chat. There's a lot of toxic members in the community. Lots of people intimidate them, especially women. Yeah.
But they should understand Lady Gaga doesn't give 2 cents about what we think about.
What us, a bunch of nerds, are
yeah.
saying about her. Yeah. I think Stevie Wonder used to be a brand ambassador. I didn't know that. Hey, Tennessee Mike's here as well. Good to see you. Kevin saying Nomos doesn't go to wind up.
Okay, so I thought so.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump down, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad at keeping up with you guys. Neff says wow. Oh, thank you, Neff, for the super chat. I was wondering why the color was different. Thank you, sir. And Kevin too. Thanks so much. Band-Aid fun for the Nomos wrist scars. Thank you. Cowboy YKG says he is a big fan of Nomos.
Nice.
Owns 3. Cool. Would be cool to know which 3 you own.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know.
Yeah. I every once in a while I get a craving for a Tetra again, but then I remember the scars. So Watchdog podcast, Clayton says would probably buy another Damasco before another Zin. Oh, cool. Now also says I'm more of a Damasco person myself. Zin before the hype. All right. Hey, Canadian watch monkey says no. Too many dive watches. There are a lot of them. So Sanjay can feel more awkward. These streams are fantastic. Oh, thanks, man. That's very kind of you.
If the chat keeps on going, he'll buy a Nomos with the cash
Yeah.
on the stream.
I mean, it's $10 US. Can you imagine what I can do with that?
Yeah. Conversion, right?
Yeah, like 2,000. I mean, I can buy a pen. Like pen soup coming right up after these messages. Okay. Let's see. Wolfgang says I could start a Nomo sub collection and get the blue one. Their midnight blue dials are really nice. Like if you don't go with their tried and true white dial with the black printed numerals and stuff like that, their midnight blue is
But
spectacular.
I would say that Wolfie just got a really, 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 really good colored blue
Yes,
IWC right now, which might trump all the Nomos blue colors that are out there.
yeah, I
That
agree.
that that watch is amazing.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know how you can beat the Paul Weber Wolfie.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like if I had that, I would just throw out my blue watches. No, I'm just joking. Um, okay. Um, all right. I think we can move on. I'm really sorry, guys. I am quite low energy. Let's chat about Theo and Harris's video. So this was a really funny video. I was laughing like my sides were hurting. There were so many golden moments in this, and it was also the sort of review for Longines. Maybe not the watch, kind of the brand, I guess. This is really funny. So it started off like this fake infomercial like thing, like hello, welcome to such and such a place, and you just caught me after my
Afternoon tea.
my delightful afternoon tea. And they talked about how they got this Longines Spirit in titanium and 42 millimeters, which was unfortunate for their tiny wrist sizes, but it was fortunate because he was about to kind of give Christian a hard time about it. So yeah, it goes on to kind of lead him on. I don't know if this was all kind of made up. I feel like it probably was.
Oh
Like
yeah,
this was set up.
it was set up, of
Yeah.
course. Um,
but yeah, I had a blast watching this because they brought up Christian's grandpa and
yes. So in the beginning, he said, "Can you rock a 42 millimeter?"
yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, I think I could with a sweater." Like
It was good.
that was how. Then they start with Longines,
Yeah.
and then Longines. I mean, it was. And then it's funny how I like how he says, even though the watch is 42 millimeters, Christian can make a review out of it. He can say good words about Longines, and he starts talking about the Longines Spirit
Yeah.
and all this stuff, and then they ask these people, can Christian rock a 42 millimeter watch?
Yeah.
And they're like, let's talk to some people. And they go to where was it, London Jewelers or whatever
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
thing. And one of the people were like, and the other, he can't. And then one person's like, I don't want to say anything. But the funniest one was his grandfather. It's
Yeah.
like, he can't even pick up a screwdriver. He has two left hands, two right
Right.
feet.
Yeah.
Guy's got he probably needs a Mickey Mouse watch.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and the one guy at London Jewelers was like, I put a lot of 42s on a lot of wrists. That's not going on. And it was funny because in the beginning part they were talking about how whether what size watch he was wearing right now, and he looked at him and said 34, and then they cut away from him, and he said that kind of changed the tone of this.
he felt a sour tone throughout the day.
Yeah.
But let's go to the review.
Oh, it was so good, and the ending was really good too. Like
Yes.
how it all ended. Where he was asked, so Christian, do you think you can pull off this Longines 42 mil Spirit?
Getting back
And
to the question.
yeah, yeah. Oh, and he said, what did he say? Well, if it's kind of cold outside, and the sweater is and
Bleep you, bleep you. At least
he
it was
just
it was
walks up.
good production. I like that. It was a funny video.
It was really well done. Oh man. Um,
The
so
grandfather did it for me in his New York accent. It was he was just basically making fun of his own grandson.
yeah, pretty bad.
So,
Oh no, this is too big. This watch is too big for
exactly.
him.
Can't even pick up a screwdriver.
Yeah. It's like videos like this are really, endearing. They're making them really endearing to me
Mhm.
because they have their weekly chats about the news, which is kind of like in a podcast like format. Um, and they banter a lot. Sometimes it's a bit much, but other times it just adds to their personality, and they're very endearing, coming from a place where I think Christian a few years ago was someone who made me not want to watch the the YouTube channel, their YouTube channel. I didn't want to spend time on it because it was so irreverent and so crass. But now it's it's funny and it's lighthearted and very
Artistic,
it's sorry.
artistic
Yes.
in a way.
Yeah. I was rolling my eyes when he was reviewing the launching though, because I mean I was like, it's not even like it wasn't serious because he wasn't even talking about the watch. He was talking about how he felt about way back in the day, how when he got to know watches and Longines was there. Longines was there, and you could say that about any brand. Tissot was there, Or, when I first started, 3 years ago, and I went into my local thrift store and I saw Tissot, and it really grabbed my heart, and I felt like, I could be a watch collector, that's literally my story, but I could say it that way, but it just comes off as a little fake, which it did there, but the rest of the video I really enjoyed.
He did do a review of the watch in between, like that 5 minutes. He did say, like, the numeral, like there's 5 different textures in the dial, and the titanium makes it, but
Yeah,
it
that's
was
true.
like it was not like a review like we normally hear, like, a Tim Moss is saying. Steve just says it in like a casual way, and then
Yeah.
goes back to the comedy.
Yeah. I wonder what Longines thinks about that video. Like if
Yeah,
this is the
that
the review, their name isn't on the video, the Longines Spirit, nowhere to be seen. It just happened to kind of fall into the video. I wonder if they do another video on it, or if this is it. It'll be really weird.
it's a good one-off. I like this video. Like
Yeah.
it's refreshing because it's so, like you said, out of not like the same old shtick.
Mhm.
They're making fun of themselves,
Yes.
so it's not like they're making fun of just the brand or anything. They're making fun of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Canadian Watch Guy saying Hamilton is extremely active with links to movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually asked a few non-watch friends if they noticed the Hamilton below zero in Tenet. I have not watched Tenet. Surprise, surprise. But no one noticed the watch. Like it was such a big deal in like the watch news media. Hamilton Tenet was it was going to be in the movie. It had like this cool, like they were gonna use the watch for something or other, and everyone I asked who did watch Tenet didn't notice the watch at all. So um, I don't know how much it plays. All the money they're spending with the movie links and tie-ins. I don't know how much that profits them, but you never know. Oh, Bruno said the Stevie Wonder comment was a joke. Sorry, Bruno. Yeah. All right. Uh, Corey was saying the Theo Harris video was absolutely hilarious. It was. It was. Darkstar, hey, good to see you. Everyone is puking out Tiffany blue dials now. it, I felt like it was happening before. It might get worse now, but because you had like the Chrono with the Seiji. They had the Tiffany blue dial. You got Doxas, Tiffany blue.
I think Helios has a
Helios.
pastel blue,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like it was ramping up, and now it might actually hit critical mass. And
No, it's not that. It's just because Rolex and Patek did it.
yeah,
That's the only thing. Nobody, like, that's the only thing. And I really don't care if Patek and Rolex. If you like a Tiffany blue color from another brand, go get it.
yeah.
There's so much out there.
Underachieving watch collector says, I think Christian is sensitive about his girly wrist. He should not be. I think his wrist is bigger than mine. So, because I saw the way I'm sure they were wearing the 40 mil Spirit in that video. Because Christian was wearing the Spirit, and it didn't look like a monster on his wrist. Like when you got a shot of him looking at the watch, it looked okay. Not the B-roll footage because that wasn't Christian, but they had the 40 mil Spirit on his wrist, and it didn't look crazy. I put the 40 mil Spirit on my wrist, and it looked ridiculous. So
I think they were shout out to who was that? Big Wrist Joe.
yes, yeah, Big Wrist Joe, the guy who can run.
Kudos to Big Wrist Joe who could pull off the 42 mil. I mean, they show B-roll of him, the big wrist Joe wearing the 42 millimeter watch.
Except his wrist isn't big.
Yeah,
It's normal size.
it's how they said it. It was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, it was good. Um, James Duffy says, I've hung out with Christian. He's unapologetically himself in person. He's a nice guy, but a bit too much into his hustle. Yeah, I can see that. He does seem like a very nice guy. This video really was one of the better ones.
Grandpa Dale. Yeah,
Grandpa is the best. Let's see. Underachieving watch collector. Love this peanut gallery. That's literally the premise of the show. It's just us getting together and just chatting about videos. So that's it.
yeah. I usually don't watch the Harris videos, but this one was well worth the. For those who haven't seen the video, it's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, I agree. Michael, the Harris to Christian's Theo,
He's funny.
he's good. Yeah, he's a good storyteller.
I like how he plays with the in the beginning. He plays with the laptop, looks at the camera, and he gets up.
and Christian comes in and then moves everything back. Man, all the little details, they were so good. Yeah. Peter, yep, you should definitely go watch it. Let's see. Watch Clayton from the Watchdog podcast says I kind of dread watching them in prep for Watch Soup when I'm on. Maybe I'll give this bit a chance. Oh man, this you got it, man. You got to do it. This one was good. The video would get more views without Longines in the title. That might be true, actually. You're probably right. Jared is saying Tenet was a bit of a strange movie anyways, but I like it. I like
Interstellar. That's another
Interstellar. Okay. Right. I watched that one. That's one I have watched.
That watch is pretty important. So that
that's
actually
is a code watch, right? Like the it's kind of important, but only in one scene. Yeah. What was that called? The Murph?
Mm-hmm.
Murph. Big wrist show. By the way, which one of you is Pink? Pink? Like the artist Pink?
Not sure.
Kevin says, I like Theo and Harris better when they had his dad on and grandpa. Rolly's the man. And I loved his wine choices during Liquor Run. Oh man, I'm glad I missed those. I remember seeing his dad on and they were just cursing away. And I was like, oh, dude, that's your dad. Whoa, dude, that's your son. So it was really alien to me, that whole concept.
But they would do these wine tastings and all that stuff together. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah. I remember that.
Cool. All right, let's move on. Move on to our next video. Our
this is the encore, right? The main entree of the
This is a good video. I feel like it was a bit more serious because Evan was kind of going through a bit of a crisis during this video. So the video is a review of the PAM682, and he was talking about he has a problem with this watch, and more globally Panerai. He has a problem with Panerai, and he goes on to review this watch in his usual bubbly self. Very I just saw Corey's comment. You're terrific. Let's go. He was reading in his bubbly self, and he had some good one-liners. Not as many as normal, but basically that this was a littler submersible, and I think you own this, right, Bobby?
I own the PAM683, so the same watch with the ceramic bezel.
Okay.
So it's a black ceramic bezel with the same everything. The movement, the bezel. Well, I guess the bezel changed, so that was a big issue with what he was picking up. But basically the same dimensions, everything. So I've worn it. I loved wearing the watch, but it was more serious. This one, his dry humor was not there that much.
Yeah, yeah,
He was kind of rooting for Panerai in the
right.
beginning, but then he gets serious with Panerai and why he feels like they're maybe outpricing themselves with their quality. Like I think that's where he ends up. Like in the end, he says like if it's for 5,000, I'm buying it. If it's 7,000, I might consider it. I think
Right.
this is a $9,000 watch. So
80,
so
8,900. So yeah,
yeah.
9,000.
So
Yes.
I think the question is, I don't know if for those who haven't seen the video, it's you're terrific
Yeah.
reviewing a PAM682. So it's a luminar submersible with a rotating bezel with a steel bezel, and it has the in-house movement P9010 movement 42 millimeters. So it's smaller. It's not like extremely small, but in terms of Panerai, of course, like you mentioned, 44 and 47 millimeters is the probably the average size
Yep.
of Panerai that it is. This is on the smaller side. 300 meters water resistant. It has really good loom. He tells about all the pros in the beginning, right? He says it's a great strap. He loves how it looks on his wrist. Loves the look of it. It's kind of a different type of. It's not the more popular model. Like it's not the Luminar with the, it's the submersible line. So it's kind of a niche type of model line of Panerai.
Yeah.
Um, he likes the loom, and then he likes the watch to wear. Like if he just said no price and not included, he would like the watch.
Yeah.
Then he goes into detail of what the price is. So he says it's $9,000, and then he says, but for the same price, you can probably get a Rolex Submariner, of course, with a beautiful bracelet, one of the best bracelets in the market, and with you're probably getting a foolproof movement and almost like an industrial design as well, plus usually no issues. And then he brings up the issues, right? I think the major
Yeah.
issue he had was the bezel, where it wiggles north and south, which is
Yeah.
not supposed to happen. uh, I never had that issue with the 683, which is ceramic bezel.
Okay.
So but I don't know if the one that he got, again, I'm not saying this is an individual issue, because I've heard a lot of issues with Panerai.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a like a single entity that he just got a bad watch. I think it's something that might be true
Well,
amongst Panerai.
James just put up a video saying that he thought the bezel rattle on the at the ADE was a one-off, but it's not a bug; it's a feature. So, James, firsthand, it seems like he's gone through that.
Yeah, so
Or
I
he,
wouldn't say that Submersible 42, right? It's just that particular model, the
okay, 2,
682. The
right?
683, which I've owned, I've had no issues with it. I've owned the 1055, which is the green with the green dial and a steel bezel. I did not have an issue with that one. It
Okay,
did not have the thing. But if you guys ever want to buy a Panerai, I would probably first of all buy it from a reputable source, because there's a lot of fakes out there. Don't buy from like an unknown buyer or unknown seller in eBay, because there's so many fakes out there. Number two is I would try to wear it, try to see if you can test it out before purchasing it, because I think Panerai is risky sight unseen, because there might be a lot of issues. There might be issues with the dial. I've heard people having issues with like dust and lint on the inside the dial.
really?
I've had issues with the case back movement finishing. It's not even like $3,000 worth. So that's where these issues, QC issues with Panerai. He thinks that this watch should be definitely worth less
Yeah,
coming on a strap. He compares it to Rolex, and I agree with him. But I think uh, this is probably, if this was a $5,000 watch, this would be the best $5,000 diver in the market, um, hands down. I don't think any other brand can compete with that in $5,000 to $6,000 price bracket. But again, they're outpricing themselves. I agree with them. Evan saying that it's not worth 9,000 on a strap.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he talked about that bezel wiggle and how it wouldn't exist in a watch that's half the price. It really wouldn't exist in a watch that's a tenth of the price. Like a watch that's $8,900 wouldn't have that kind of wiggle. So it's really crazy that something like that would pass through QC and get through to the customer, but I guess it has. Um, I don't know. Like, I don't quite get it. I mean, I really like the look of a Panerai, but you mentioned how this, if this was 5K, this would be the best
Yes.
watch in that 5K mark for best diver. I don't know how. Like, I mean, if you could help me understand, like, what?
Well, I think a couple of things. So
Yeah.
now here's a problem. If that bezel was correct,
Yes. Yes.
now
Yeah.
if they had, let's say the QC was correct,
Yeah.
the bezel is aligned. They have the case, the in-house case, the movement on the back.
Yeah.
Um, I think they're um, I think they would compete with Omega Seamaster. That would be
Okay.
the two ones that would be head neck and neck.
Yeah.
I think Panerai is hurting themselves going up market because they're playing against. I mean, when I say playing, I mean Blanc Ponds. Way better. I don't know if you
Yeah.
ever handle a Blanc Pond. They come
Yeah.
out like, so. Let's just compare Blanc Pond and Panerai. Blanc Pond has a better bezel. They have a better dial. They have better loom. They have better movement. They have better finishing. They have a better history. I mean, everything. It's Blanc Pond, and Panerai doesn't have that. They used to be very hot. I completely agree. 90s they were this thing. They're they're banking on their early early days. I I feel like they're at those, like the early models were not so expensive. I don't know reason why they went up market. I don't know. That's why I'm a little concerned about. So at least you can say Grand Seiko is doing something, right? They're doing new movements, they're doing new finishing. There's a Ratsu finishing. All that stuff is really good, and that's why they're going up market.
Yeah.
Panerai doesn't do that. Panerai
Yeah.
still stays the same. They're going up market. I don't know why. I feel like for 5,000, the only great divers you can get are probably like the Seamaster, maybe like a good tutor, right? Um,
I've heard, like, recently there was this new Seiko that came out that is around.
yes, yes, yes. I heard about that too. I
Yeah.
heard about that too.
Yeah. Some guy on YouTube, he bought one.
He bought one, yeah, for
Yeah.
4,600. Yeah,
Yeah. What a guy.
yeah. But I
He
don't know if
said,
you ever handle the submersible, but it's
I have.
really, it's a really, again, I would prefer, like, a first person buying a first watch. I would probably say Panerai, this the Luminar without the bezel, or a radio mirror probably would be a better choice.
Yeah.
But they're divers. I mean, the submersible is a good quality watch. I'm not saying anything. Cushion case, their dial design is really nice. The sandwich dial is really good, one of the best in the market.
Yeah.
Um, but 9,000 is too much. 5,000, like even he said, right, in the end, he said, if it's 5,000, I'm buying this watch. Like,
Yeah.
because he knows. I think he says, 9,000 is not worth it at all.
Right.
But for 5K, even with that issue, it's worth it. I
Yeah.
think that's where he's trying to get to, and I think a few Seiko models, Omega Seamaster and probably Panerai, it'd be better for the brand to do that, but they
Yeah.
won't. They will never do that. They think they're much
Or-
higher up in the market. I don't think they're
right.
worth that.
Yeah. Would be It would be interesting. I mean, they've had all these other models that are, 50, $60,000 recently too, right? Like
Hmm.
with the
The
recycled metal.
70-year warranty and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But it's see that's the problem, is like they only have two lines, the
Yeah.
luminar and radiumer. There's
Yeah.
not that much things they can do besides changing the material, right? Like the carbon fiber, the forged carbon, or the sailcloth. I mean, there's one with the sail. I forgot which one. That people can tell me about that.
Hmm.
Um, but there's nothing else that they're doing that's innovative besides material.
Yeah.
Uh, and there's been issues with their movements, right? They were trying to hide a ETA movement.
Yeah.
Recently, I think they posted on Instagram a fake Panerai that they posted as a wrist shot from a enthusiast, which ended
Yep.
up being a fake one, and they had to pull it down. Like things like that. That's You're not supposed to
Yeah.
to make those mistakes from a PR department.
Yeah.
Uh, just bad optics.
Yeah. Bad PR.
Yeah.
Joey was saying that he doesn't see himself ever buying a Panerai. That's I I still could see myself getting a Due. I know that's another watch that is quite derided, but I really like the
A
look
Dewey
of
is
them.
pretty high. It's pretty popular though.
Is
Like
it?
it's well, yeah. I know a rep who's. I think it's their highest selling. One of their high selling models is the Dewey.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is where the other point comes in, right? Who cares about enthusiasts? Enthusiasts will be like, oh my god, people are buying left and right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I really like the look of it. I really like the way the movement's finished and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The things that I appreciate. It's up there, but you know, some things scare me away from Panerai.
I think it's great value right now in this market,
Yeah.
and a lot of things are going up in value. But like secondhand Panerai values, it's a bargain.
Yeah.
Not bargain, but it's like a good value for money. Like Nomos, like you said,
Yeah.
Nomos. I think Panerai is good secondhand value.
Yeah. Makes sense. It was funny how he was talking about the enthusiast as well, and how the enthusiast derided this 42 mil model, and they said anything below like a 47 mil Panerai is an outrage. That was one of his dry humor moments. I
Yeah,
really liked it. 60 mil Egiziano, was it? Egizi something or other, and he went into his Italian. uh, Buon appetito, buonaventura. That was a good one. Bongonari says, get a pre-owned Panerai with an ETA Unitas. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's what you were recommending too,
And
right,
I
Barbara?
think even Evan from Your Terrific has one. Like
Yes, he does.
his Panerai is that.
Yeah, the he's owned it for like 3 years, which is saying something. Neff says Blancpain are hand finished for the same price or less.
It's yeah. I just it's insulting to compare Blancpain and Panerai. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like, but I'm comparing them because both of them don't have bracelets, right?
yeah,
Usually don't have bracelets.
yeah.
Um,
Um, yeah. No, we forgot to talk about the terrible finishing about the lugs. You'd have to think that this was kind of a calculated thing that they've done, because so what Evan was showing in the video was that there's like this brushing lines that start at the lugs and they go up into the bracelet, and it's a different grit of brushing to the rest of the case, so it looks really odd.
yeah,
And this would be a really easy thing to fix if you're doing this. You could tape off that section and do the lugs. I know this is probably mass produced and it's all machine done, so maybe that's the problem. But man, that's you'd think they probably did it on purpose, because on all four lugs there were like these weird brushing lines right above the lugs on the case, which is
yeah.
yeah
Or is it malaligned? Like the
yes
whole thing was.
yeah.
Um,
So a really odd set of finishing on those lugs. Unacceptable or even $100 watch, says Neff. Yeah, it was odd. So, Empty Chaz, it says Oshin's video really had me wanting a Panerai. Hmm, I'll have to look that up.
I think this another thing is that Panerai is so different from every other watch brand in their design. It's like you talked about Nomos being minimalistic. I think Panerai's like, and people who are like Wolfgang here, like the Panerai on your wrist is such a different. Having owned a couple of them, it's just so different. It's just a you know in your face design.
Yeah,
And the sandwich dial with the crown guard, it's just it's recognizable. It's just it's a different feeling. Again, everybody has a different this thing. For me personally, I think it's such a great watch to wear as a like a beater watch.
yeah, I agree. Wolfgang actually, I remember seeing lots of his pictures. Love. He says he loves Panerai, not a fan of the new materials and
Hmm.
pricing of the latest releases. It's nuts. Wonder if they're
Yeah, they're just changing materials and charging like five figures, which is crazy.
yeah. Kevin was asking which the Seiko we were talking about was the Sla-055, which I purchased. I was that guy that we were talking about. Because yesterday I think I said this is the best diver that I can think of in that price range.
You
Which
think it's better than your 39 millimeter Panerai Planet Ocean that you had? I would still take your Planet Ocean.
Oh, I take the Seiko.
You take a Seiko? Okay.
I would take the Seiko. I mean, brand. Yeah, Omega has that brand cachet,
Yeah,
but
even forget the brand. I'm just saying, like
the watch. Oh man, the watch is incredible. Like just the way the watch
how
feels.
many meters water resistant is it? The other one?
200.
200. Okay.
Yeah.
It has a great. I mean, like this is it's like it looks like sterling silver.
It does. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I just like the bracelet. I just like the whole look of a 39.5 millimeter Planet Ocean.
It was a good look.
Proportional, not top heavy. 600 meters water resistant. I forgot how many meters.
Yeah.
A lot of good loom.
Yeah.
Nice design. Arrow hand. No, that's just me, but I would choose that one. But
Yeah. I would still go with the Seiko because loom's great. Finishing
the
is
loom is better
incredible.
probably in Seiko, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The the finishing blows the Omega like to Kingdom Come in terms of how well this finished the case of this watches. And the dial is beautiful. It's got beautiful texture to it, fume style. So yeah, I would pick the Seiko, which is really strange to say. Oil Money says, I also heard some foolish guy from the Schwab brought that to me. Yep, that's the guy. Excuse me. Oh man. Okay, scrolling down a little bit further. I'm sorry if I missed any of you guys. What you're saying? Only know one person who bought one of my new Panerai. Let's see. Okay. Dunkirk. Someone mentioned Dunkirk. Like duo equals pen. Ooh, yikes. Come on, Kevin. The duo is nice. 30-minute water is. I don't know if do they even call it a diver. I mean, it has that Panerai case, and it's. I suppose it's supposed to be a diver.
That's as much as water resistance as my reverse, so it's kind of sad.
Yeah, I know. That's it's a really odd choice from Panerai. I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, I think there's, technically speaking, it's a really bad watch, the Due, but aesthetically, it's a really good watch. 38 millimeters, better. I think it comes in white dial too. It's a really pretty watch.
Yeah. Scott Tarlow was saying Dunkirk is the best Nolan movie.
No, I would not agree with that.
No? What would you say is the best Nolan movie?
I would say between Inception and The Dark Knight. I think The Dark Knight, I personally like that movie. I don't know if you've seen any of those two, but those two pretty good movies.
I did see Inception a long time ago.
Good. You saw Inception? Okay, great.
Dark Knight.
Batman, Joker, Heath Ledger.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I saw that one.
Yeah, that was that. I still think that's the best comic book movie of all time.
Who is the guy with the explosions? The guy who's known for just explosions and lens flares.
Michael Bay?
Yes. Okay. I thought Michael Bay did Dark Knight.
But... Oh no. That would be bad. Oh, wow. Transformers. He did Transformers.
Right. Okay. It's coming back to me now. Yeah, that's what I was.
The nightmares are coming back to you now. The Transformers movies. Oh, yeah, that's him.
Lens flare and explosion.
Yeah, it's just boom, blast.
Steve is asking, is the 055 a keeper? I don't know. It might be.
If you say I don't know, that means it's not yet. So
yeah, the only reason I say I don't know.
It's only been 2 weeks, right?
No, not even. Got it this past Tuesday, so not even a week. So yeah, that adds to the I don't know, but we'll see. Time Hill is saying the Due is nice, looks nice. Kevin was saying I want to see that Seiko Sla-055. The New York Seiko AD said they didn't have it yet.
Wow.
057 is really nice too. I mean, if you got a good QC version of it, I think it can't be beat. But but I'll yeah, I know I'm in the minority there. uh, Chaz saying hard to believe Sanji got a movie reference wrong. And Kevin saying please stop this guy.
I
Yeah.
do have to say Michael Bay did make some earlier work of his was pretty good. I don't know if you ever seen, and this is from a Miami guy, but Bad Boys. No, I don't think you've
No,
seen why Bad Boys is type of that probably with Will Smith. No, it's probably not your type of movie. The Rock, where Nicolas
like the
Cage and Sean Connery, they're Alcatraz. No, okay,
no.
all right.
When you said The Rock, I was thinking of
The Rock, the actor, The
yeah,
Rock,
The
Dwayne
Rock.
Johnson. Yeah,
Or what was the one where they went into space to kind of blow up a?
Armageddon.
Was that Armageddon? Okay.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Deep Impact. What was Deep Impact?
Deep Impact is insane. Those two movies came out similar times.
Okay.
There was a meteorite coming in. Armageddon is where they go and Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck. That was a success, but it was not a great movie.
Okay. Cool. James Duffy was suggesting a Panerai Caranta. I've never heard of that, or never have I seen that. 40 mil sounds appealing. I can pull it up. Panerai. Okay, looks nice. Sorry, guys. We're the dying embers at the stream, so. Have you seen this one, Bobby?
No,
Luminor Marina Caranta.
it looks pretty nice.
Yeah. Cool blue. It's probably like precious metal and costs $40,000 or something. At least I hope not. When did this come out? 2021, November 18th. Okay, so it's super, like it's brand new. $7,100 each. Not bad, considering the last one was $9,000.
Well, the Submersible is always more expensive than the Luminar.
Yeah.
Marina, just base.
Apparently, that was one that Dib might have considered, says Wolfie. Kevin also saying, how could you say that Armageddon was not a great movie? It's like saying the PAM682 is not a great watch. That's good. I'm guessing it was a bad movie.
Mixed reviews. Say, you know what? I agree with Kevin. Armageddon was the PAM682 of movies. It's
Okay.
it's mixed reviews.
Right. Widely loved by the general public, but the enthusiasts.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Makes sense. Apparently, Armageddon was a good movie if you never took science class in your life. There you go. Dan actually likes Armageddon.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's just not a. It's a Michael Bay movie type of movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So explosions and lens flares.
That's basically what it is, right? They play both.
Right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for another Watch Soup. It's been a lot of fun. It's always fun to have you on, Bobby. We have some good conversations. So hope you have a good week upcoming and a great trip. I know you're heading out tomorrow, so
yep.
Yeah, enjoy. And thank you all for joining us in the chat. Hope you all have a great week. And we'll see you next week for Saturday Night Watch Talk. All right, take care, everyone. Have a good night.